That was a hell of an info dump. Good boy.
I mean, I wouldn't call it an info dump. It was mostly just emotions.
Well, I mean,
yeah. It was almost entirely emotional storytelling with very little actual lore.
I guess more confirming everything that we knew already. Probably a better way to put it.
I was like, oh, everyone's yelling and dramatic things are happening. This is such a nice break from the original campaign. It would seem that we are in southern Thanalan again. Menphilia is doing, no doubt. May the 12 speed her on her way, and the warriors of darkness too. I cannot help but wonder what awaits those wayward souls. If they gave their lives in order to travel to the source, then, in returning to the first, would they not? But mayhap that was their wish. Everybody fucking died.
That's fine. Those characters to think about.
Forgive me, my thoughts were elsewhere, and this when I know full well there is yet work to be done. The crystals. Leave them to me. I'll go back to Zaharak and secure them. The Almaja will still be in disarray after the thrashing the Warriors of Darkness gave them. They are not like to notice a lone bard skulking about. But Thancred, you... Don't have to do this, I know, but I want to. I'll see you at the Rising Stones. Toss a coin to your scion. I shall go and find Ida and Papalimo. They must be finishing searching the Mask's camp by now. Not that it matters anymore. Yep, we are indifferent to the struggles of the Alamegans the moment this conflict is over.
Yep.
You must be tired, hero. I know I am.
Well, yeah, after actually being useful for once as an NPC and doing something really, really powerful for us, yeah, I can imagine you would be tired.
She took us through the entire Tower of Crystal or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the DLC, this expansion just decided to throw her in the garbage for the entirety of it.
Essentially.
Which is also what the original Realm Reborn campaign did for some reason.
Yeah, here, we'll give you a really important role with the Coils of Bahamut and then never again up until now.
Yeah. And that was dozens of hours after we'd last seen her too.
Yep. Anywho.
That's Orianjar.
If thou will permit me, my lady, I would ask a question. When didst thou become aware of mine independent pursuits?
When I saw you meeting with that warrior of darkness and the Ascian in white at the Great Library. I tried not to think the worst. You've never been one to confide in others, so I knew that even were your intentions pure, you would not share your plans with us until you felt the time was right. But I cannot deny that a part of me feared you had simply betrayed us.
Would that there had been another way, knowing that I took no pleasure in deceiving thee, and that these sins will forever weigh heavy on my heart.
I understand why you did what you did. That you but sought to achieve the greatest good while inflicting the least harm. Not many would have the courage to make that choice. But even knowing what came of your actions, I find that I cannot condone them. I'm sorry. Hero, forgive me, but I believe the events of the day have taken their toll on me. I should like to rest for a while.
If thou wilt grant me leave, I would gladly escort thee unto a refuge of thine own choosing. Once my lady hath regained her strength, we shall join thee at the Rising Stones. Until then, Warrior of Light. I'm surprised you trust him right now.
I mean, he did save all of our lives and was clearly on our side. Otherwise, none of that would have played out the way it did.
But at the same time, you know, he did, even with the best of intentions, he did technically still fight against us on multiple occasions.
It's his fault that, at least partially his fault, probably, that one kid's parents are dead.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, but who? Do you even remember the name of that kid?
Yeah, Bago. Goba.
Gooba.
Gooba.
Gooby?
Gooba.
Hold on. Scroll.
I think
Scroll.
It's Goobu.
Scroll.
Is it Goobu?
It's
I
Goobu.
thought it was Gabu. It's in GA.
Syria, Alphino, I'll say.
I'm the most right of them all. Where's Andrew? Oh, here, he's not in my party still.
Oh, am I not? Oh, sorry.
Load in.
Alright, dialogue.
Gabu, yep. It was indeed Gabu.
Well,
Well
met
met.
the first time.
Huh? Yeah, Gabu. He did.
Well met, hero. Alphino said you would be joining us. It would seem the Griffin Stubble was telling the truth, insofar as we found nothing resembling a sizable cache of crystals in the Mask's camp. Did you perchance find one in Zaharak?
Boy, have I got a story for you, knowing glance, chuckle. Actually, fade to black.
Exposition.
Oh, shit! Well, we weren't there. I don't believe it. The crystals, Menphilia, all of it. It's just... I don't know what it is. Massive FOMO's what it is. I sympathize, Ida. Even now I struggle to comprehend that which I saw. The only thing I can say with any certainty is that I feel blessed to have been granted a final chance to speak with her. It was bittersweet, aye, but also affirming. Also, the heroes just never told us about that place, ever, apparently.
Alphino, I believe it is past time Yida and I rejoin the Scions. We've been away for far too long. Though I am loath to leave the Griffin to his own devices, I feel our investigation would benefit more from your dispassionate perspectives. And I hope that we might, in turn, offer our own opinions on the many challenges that you have faced in our absence.
They've accomplished like almost nothing, and now they're gonna leave, having we practically resolve things separately.
Here, do our work for us.
They're definitely setting up the Griffin to come up later, though. You don't just throw that away.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way that he's not going to come up later.
So they're gonna finally deal with the Alamegan stuff that's been like, I think, just like
It's
weirdly
been
suggested
hovering around
and
since
ignored.
ARR. Yeah.
Gods, it's been
Is it-
absolutely ages, hasn't it? I can't wait to hear about everyone's adventures and the deaths that have happened along the way.
Yeah, and the fact that, Y'shtola lost her eyesight and a whole bunch of other things.
Yep, and Thancred, I guess, lost an eye too, because he always likes to wear a Nier-style eye patch for some reason.
Not to mention, they suspect that he can't wield Aether anymore and a whole bunch of other things.
We should be glad to recount them, and Tataru's tales may well surprise you. Let me tell you about
And the
the
fact that he-
Vor dragon who vored his wife.
I was
Old man's back.
well, whilst we're waiting on it.
okay. Sorry, I didn't realize it was Gunbolt.
You're good.
Yida, Ralga be praised, it is you. Yida alive and standing here before me. In the flesh, I can hardly believe my eyes.
I must have lost track of what was going on, because I thought this was where she was this whole time. How did they miss each other?
Yeah. What?
She was hanging out in the bar.
Oh, come now. It has really been so long you don't remember me. It's Gunnabold. I fought alongside your father in the revolution.
Which one? Place has revolutions every week.
They were the Confederates.
It explains the rocks.
Do not think less of her, friends. It's been 20 years since the occupation sent us our separate ways. But the resistance were always welcome in Little Ahamigo. They gave us hope, and young Yida did most of all. Yida was always full of fire, ever the first to volunteer for a mission. Until the day she gave up and vanished, that is. There were rumors, and we feared the worst. But here you are, alive and well, looking nary a day older.
Well, what can I say? I'm sorry for running off like that and making you all worry. It's a long story, but you see, I got involved with my friends here, the Scions. Oh, sorry. We were still the Circle of Knowing back then. Right, that was 1.0. Anyway, I wanted to come back and tell you, but it was all very secretive stuff at the time, and as you can see, I'm completely fine. I know we've got a lot to talk about, and we will, but right now I've got to hurry back to our headquarters. My friends are expecting me. I will never return. Somebody's running from their past, literally.
Pray forgive her. It's been a very long day for us all. I promise we will visit again at the first opportunity. Yes. Let us return to the Rising Stones.
Are you gonna teleport us there?
No.
Jackass.
Hells take me for giving you that mask.
You were the one who was responsible for that?
Probably, yeah.
Speak with
What's up,
Alpha.
damn you ugly? Put this mask on. It's freaking me out.
What is going on there?
I don't know. I guess we're about to find out.
Which mask?
The one that Ida's
Probably
wearing,
Ida's?
probably?
I was gonna say like Ida or Griffin.
Both. No, I didn't mean to do it.
Considering the fact that he seemed to not know the true identity of the individual behind the mask, I doubt it.
But everyone's a liar in this game.
Touche. Talking to Elfino.
Welcome home, hero. I trust your journey was uneventful. You'll be pleased to hear that Thancred has secured the crystals he sent word a short while ago. Once he has delivered them safely to the Temple Knight's care, he will rejoin us here, and we can declare this matter officially resolved. While awaiting your arrival, I took the opportunity to contact Ishtola and Kral, and briefed them on all that has occurred. I also requested that they return to the Rising Stones at their earliest convenience. Now that our lost friends have been found, it would seem meet to discuss the future. That's a weird string of words. Wow, look at everyone's new costumes.
Back in the solar. It's been too long since we were all together like this. Not since after Moonbreeder.
Much has changed since then. We ourselves, most of all.
Though not all who were lost could be gathered here today, we may take comfort in the knowledge that those who are not are carrying on the fight.
While I am grateful to our friends in the north for their hospitality, it isn't half good to be back.
But, as Papalima rightly said, much has changed since we last stood here. The scions of the Seventh Dawn are not as they once were, nor should we be. Our travels in the north brought us into contact with a host of fine and generous people, and their selfless deeds serve to show me that it is not lofty causes that should inform our actions, but our hearts. And I hope that the Scions might continue in this manner, as individuals driven by individual principles. Provided we all sincerely desire to work towards Eorzea's salvation, I believe the paths we follow to achieve it need not, and should not, be dictated by any single ideal.
Companions bound by a common purpose, free to go whither they will. The idea is not without merit. Very well. I shall resume my research of the primals and the elder gods of Eorzea. Should anyone have need of my findings, you need only ask. I should be glad of your continued assistance.
Well, my main purpose in coming here was to see the signs of the Seventh Dawn restored and my dear friend found. Nevertheless, having involved myself in your struggles, I feel compelled to see them through to the bitter end. For Minfilia's sake. That is, if there are no objections.
You will always be welcome here, Kryl.
Urianger, can we trust you to carry on your investigation of the Ascians as before?
Regardless of mine own desires, I am undeserving of your trust, having so villainously deceived you all.
Now, I'll hear no more of that. 'Twould be disrespectful of Minfilia's wishes. She entrusted matters here to us, that we might protect this star and understand the truth which hides at her heart. Mayhap I can handle the former, but I think you far better suited to the latter. No?
Very well. Then out of love for my Lady Minfilia and Moonbreeder both, this shall be my solemn charge.
Papalimo and I should probably return to Thanalan to keep an eye on the resistance. There's still the matter of the Griffin and the Amalja, not to mention the new Imperial Viceroy. That little lot must be worthy of our attention, right?
And what will you do, Alizé?
You know I have no great love for organizations and formalities. That being said, this new approach you propose is not wholly objectionable, and we've always got him to keep us from bickering. But I will suffer no titles. I am not here for House Leveilleur, nor to walk in Grandfather's shadow.
Upon that point, we see eye to eye. If it please you, you may think of me as but another comrade in arms.
Well then, Alfie, I, for my part, shall see to the paperwork and the finances with my characteristic aplomb.
I would not have it any other way, Tataru. And we mustn't forget you. What now for the Warrior of Light?
Decisions.
What now for the Warrior of Light? Literally everything. All those things you just said, I'm gonna have to help all of you with those, aren't I?
I feel like all of these are... Well, at least I know the second option is a reference to Lord of the Rings, but I'm not sure about anything else.
The third one makes a lot of sense. Is Andrew here?
I presume so.
Yes.
So...
You want to go with the third one?
We have... generic answer, why am I still here answer, and nostalgic answer. I do think we should go with the third answer, because I feel like that's, yeah, par for the course at this point.
Strive for those we have lost, for those we can yet save.
We actually spoke. It's crazy.
We used a second talking animation.
It's weird.
The path behind us was fraught with hardship, and the path before us will be no less unforgiving. But a new dawn shall break over the realm, and I see before me the faces of those who will deliver it.
You know, that statement really does make me wonder, what exactly does she see if she can see Aether right now? And not, like...
Oh, you know, blonde, brunette, redhead.
Right, but when you think about it, like, people are made out of Aether. What about, I don't know, like the bit of stone here off to the right of you as soon as you exit, or like, I don't know, the jacket that I'm wearing? Like, what does that look like in...
He just has pure Matrix vision.
Probably. Must make reading books really difficult.
Look at them, hero. The scions of the Seventh Dawn. Look how far we've come. The people we've met, the moments we've shared, the losses we've suffered, the tragedies we've overcome. All of this has made us who we are today. Where we go from here and what the future holds, only the 12 know. But I know that we will find out together. This is very season finale-y. Oh, it's a wind-up Moonbrida.
Cutscene.
We kind of got that one late.
One world's heroes are another world's villains. One world's loss, another world's gain. Where men go as one, there is life. And where there is life,
My friends, if I may, I would ask that you entrust Tupsimati to me. Clouds gather upon the horizon, and as Master Louisoix's disciple, I would keep it close at hand. Thank you. I shall guard it well.
there is cause to hope. For every ending, every parting, marks a new beginning.
He finally shows up and he's not voiced. What is this shit?
Do I want to take this guy? Tempting.
Which one?
I don't know. Probably the real one.
Look at his breathing.
I'll grab the real one. Why not? Wow. Yeah, that's a
lot of breathing through that armor.
And that metal is just like deforming. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
That's
like a frog's throat.
Yeah.
Who's Griffin?
We haven't chosen yet.
Effie's like every masked villain.
I am kind of at this point, yeah. I don't know if he's a villain though. He is a masked individual though, so you know what? Sure.
Well done, brother. You may resume your normal duties and rejoin the others. The coming battle shall be our greatest yet, and I intend to stand with you all on that glorious day. Now pardon me whilst I talk with my Asian brethren.
Hey, you called
it! Literally immediately. Is he really a villain?
And of course, now I'm gonna have a conversation with myself. What voice did I use for this guy?
True believers are so readily led.
He's tall.
I have given them everything they desired, all for which they have prayed. I doubt you can say the same for your pawns. Get what you wanted, then. Was it all worth it in the end? There were some unexpected developments, but they were ultimately to our advantage. I feel like I had a different voice for you at some point.
It's so hard to keep track.
Maybe he should show up more than once a season.
I know, right? Oh, hey, the company actually, the heat of 2 battle, battle 2 is middle of the cutscene.
Be it host to a survey of light or dark, a world bereft of equilibrium is but a void in waiting, and a void is of no use to my master. I shall follow her emissary with great interest. As for the pawns whom you so pity, they have delivered unto me a gift, which I do now present to you.
Woo! What? Oh, eyes.
Oh.
Eyes? Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, those are the eyes that we just threw in a hole. I knew that was bad. What a stupid plan. You just threw him in a hole? Seriously?
The eyes of Nidhogg. Many were the candidates considered, but by your deeds, you have proven yourself the most deserving.
Is he a villain, though? That aged super poorly.
Oh, well, I guess I do voice all the villains.
A man of boundless rage and bottomless despair, in whose breast beats a heart which thirsts for vengeance. Only you are fit to wield these eyes, for weal or for woe.
Kapufsky.
I feel like freezing eyes is bad for them.
Probably? Maybe. Probably. Most likely. They're dragon eyes, I don't know.
They're gonna pop like sodas and all the eye juice is gonna come out. That
Ooh,
doesn't grow back.
That looks like the PvP map.
God, I hate it. It is the PvP map. I hate this place. God, that's so not fun to play.
No, but it's tons of experience and things.
Hey, there's 70 people and they all select you simultaneously. You're dead.
Yep. Mysterious voice. It's probably...
It's not Alice.
Oh, you know what? I bet you I know who this is. I'm not going to say anything because I think I know who it is, but I'm not sure. I don't
So
want
it
to
was
be
here all along.
Red guy.
Yep.
It's the Red Power Ranger. God, who is he?
Oh, just you wait, my pretty. You and I are going to have so much fun.
It's just, that is so trippy hearing your voice like that, Andrew.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was wondering when he was going to come up again, because his weird not death was left ambiguous for an entire expansion.
He did it.
Meow, 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 meow.
Tatra,
this definitely all feels like, hey, next expansion teasers. I wonder if we're at the threshold. Hello, Tataru. Yeah, I see you're with Haughty Boulder's brother.
Ah, hero. Just the hero I want to see. Would you mind doing me a small favor? Buy the next expansion for $29.99.
Also, you mean Hoary Boulder.
Yeah, right.
I need you to meet me at the Diamond Forge. This won't take long, I promise.
The where?
You click on the objective, and then you click on the blue part of the screen. It's Revenant's Toll, apparently. Is that where we already are?
Yeah, we're in Revenant's Toll.
Well, I teleported out anyway. Goodbye,
Oh,
100 gil.
And oh, you are in the same instance. Yeah, there's like 3 instances you could have ended up in. Is it?
Oh yeah, we're going towards where the where you get the daily. You go here to do the daily quests for the Ixal.
Yeah, for the forge sales and things. Yeah, instance of that.
Where are we going?
Destination.
Diamond Forge is the opposite side of Revenant's Toll.
Oh
boy, it starts a cutscene.
Oh boy. I'm sorry to drag you away from your duties, but as I said, this won't take long. I just need you to stand perfectly still for a few moments.
Oh no, stylizing. But I can't get a haircut without plastic surgery. What are you planning?
Right, everyone, ready to go to work? No squirming now. Oh, and you might want to close your eyes. If you move a centimeter, you might find yourself accidentally circumcised.
Noises. Is that a healing spell?
There, all finished. The Warrior of Light's every measurement, from heroic head to intrepid toe,
and everything in between.
Well, wouldn't you like to know? All in good time, hero, all in good time. Aha, found you. Alphino wants everyone in the Solar for a meeting, the place you were just at. I don't know what it's about, but he seems to think it was very important. Go on, we have everything we need, no sense of keeping everyone waiting. I want maximum witnesses for how embarrassing the next step's gonna be. Ironically, we made you a fursuit.
We're here. Did we miss anything?
We would not presume to begin without you, Ida. Eorzea has returned to the Waking Sands, but everyone else is now present.
Yes, but for what exactly? We all have duties to attend to, Alphino, so you may dispense with the preamble.
Thank you, Elisée. It is the very subject of those duties which compelled me to call this gathering. Though the Warriors of Darkness no longer pose a threat, Eorzea's many troubles demand no less of our attention. And while I stand by the decision to approach each task as we see fit, I fear our effectiveness will ultimately be diminished should we continue to act in ignorance of each other's efforts. Thus, I propose we elect a successor to Minfilia. Not to serve as a fully fledged antecedent, perhaps, but as a coordinator of operations.
Is that all? Well, then the decision seems clear. No one else has shown any enthusiasm for the role, and judging by your performance at our previous meeting, you would seem the perfect candidate. You always did have a flair for politics.
I did not mean to... That was not my intention. As my tenure as commander of the Crystal Braves comprehensively demonstrated, I lack the qualities required for such an office. I would much prefer to remain as I am now, a soldier in the field, so to speak.
Should none of our numbers step forward, must we then constrain some unwilling candidate to take up the position?
Well, based on merit alone, a certain adventurer would be my choice. Though I concede he might struggle to balance his new responsibilities with, let me see, slaying primals, thwarting legatuses, and feeding the orphan poor.
Tancred makes a good point. Any who would wear such a mantle would be bound by its obligations. Have we not become sufficiently familiar with each other's methods to act without an overseer? At present, I see no cause to so willingly limit one of our number.
Oh my goodness! Help! I need some help here!
Tataru, are you all right?
Me? I'm fine. It's this poor girl who just staggered in and collapsed on the floor that I'm worried about.
Narco! God, how did... Yashola! Please, you have to help her.
Kral, a hand if you would. Let us see about closing these wounds.
Now, we've staunched the bleeding, but it may be a while before you can move about again. Though having seen your wounds, I'm surprised you are still moving at all.
Thank you. My message. It was too important to delay. I took the shortest route I could, though I knew it was more heavily patrolled. As you can see, my efforts at evasion were not entirely successful.
Honestly, you're too brave for your own good. What was so urgent that you needed to fight half the Empire to get here? You could have been killed.
I'm sorry, Ida. I had good reason. But I imagine your friends are wondering who this bloody mess of a Mikote is. My name is Minago, and I belong to the Alamegan Resistance. I came to warn Ida and Papalimo about one of our leaders. A man who calls himself the Griffin. He's always been dangerous, but he's planning something new. Something reckless.
The Griffin, you say? I've heard the name. Rumor has it your man is eager to test his claws.
Aye, and on no easy target. He means to assault Belsar's wall from the Alamegan side.
But what does the Griffin possibly hope to gain from such an attack?
From what I understand, he wants the fires of war to spread to Eorzea. And for that, he needs to control the border with Gridania.
So, he means to spark a conflict between the Alliance and the Imperial forces stationed in Alamigo, to have Eorzea's armies aid in the liberation effort, whether they will it or no.
His plan is flawed. Even should the Resistance succeed in occupying the wall, they would not be able to hold it. Imperial reinforcements would drive them out within a week.
Be that as it may, if there is even a chance that this scheme could bring about an escalation in hostilities between Eorzea and the Empire, the Alliance must be informed.
Agreed. I should depart for Limsa forthwith and seek an audience with the Admiral. Thancred, Uldar is yours. Alphino and Alize, make haste to the Twelveswood and notify the Elder Seedseer of the danger to Gridania. She will duly call a council of the Alliance leaders, whom you must be ready to receive. You will be our voice in Ishgard. Explain the situation to Sir Emmerich and encourage him to send an envoy. Tataru, Krile, I leave the care of our injured messenger to you. See that she remains quiescent and her wounds closed. I believe that covers everything. Let us be about our tasks.
I suspect the ill tidings from Girabania will be held as a turning point. The beginning to a bloody end. The business of war was ever conducted with the coin of self-sacrifice. 'Twas Master Louis Soir himself who taught us that such costs are not to be ignored or denied. And so, I shall embrace them. When the time comes, I will make my choice, as you will yours.
Greetings, Warrior of Light. What business brings you to Ishgard? I see. Wait here. I will summon Sir Emmerich. Exciting.
Get your nasal cavity ready.
I'll never die, no matter how much you wish I would.
Oh well. It is good to see you, my friend. 'Tis but a pity it must be under such circumstances. Had Lucia not informed me of the urgency of your suit, I would certainly have sent you some wine. But to business. I thank you for bringing these developments in Amigo to our attention. Ishgard will of course send an envoy to attend the council in Gridania. I cannot say who will represent us, however, as the choice is not mine to make. Not mine alone, at any rate. Given the immense of the threat, we may forego the formalities of a full assembly, but I will still need to consult my counterpart in the House of Commons prior to proceeding. Will you permit me some time to make the necessary arrangements? Thank you. Our representative, whoever we select, will require a suitable escort. Make your preparations and inform Sir Handleloop that he is to lead in your absence.
Yes, Lord Commander.
Hero, pray accompany Lucia to the gates of judgment and make ready to depart for Gridania. I will have our envoy join you as soon as I can. Fury speed you on your way.
Done.
Close are we to the next expansion, I wonder?
There's an entire patch left.
Oh my god.
When we started this storyline, people said welcome to 3.5. They made the last part seem so much like it was the ending.
Yeah.
If you have no other business in the city, join me at the gates of judgment. We must be ready to depart the instant the envoy arrives.
Watch it be a dragon.
Always a dragon.
There's always a dragon in a lighthouse.
That's pretty dangerous.
Gates of judgment.
Weird outside teleport spot. Look left and then right and then left and then right. Just like Mama taught me.
Oh, it's not a dragon. Wait.
Maybe it is in just human form. We meet again. As it happens, my counterpart in the House of Commons agreed that I should act as Ishgard's envoy. Not I concede that there was ever any real doubt. As Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, it is my duty to sanction any military cooperation. Be that as it may, I could not in good conscience make the decision alone, not with the ink scarce dry in the Republic's book of statutes. I trust you understand, my friend. Alas, I must test your patience still further by making a brief stop at Camp Dragonhead. Given the trouble brewing in the Black Shroud, I would see that the garrison is ready to defend the border.
Cool.
Yee. One of those places you might want to rename.
What?
It's like when you drive to the wrong back roads of California and they're like, and there's a place that's basically just called like Camp Black People Died Here. You're like, oh, okay. Might be due for rebranding some century anytime now. I
mean, there's
don't
like,
think Camp Dragonhead's a name that ages well in the given recent events.
No, definitely not. You know, especially considering this whole sequence of events has been called the Dragonsong War, you know? Kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I don't know. Any garrison commander waits within. Why not accompany me, hero? You may see a familiar face.
How dare you bring up Porchefon at a time like this?
Is he still alive?
No.
That's the point. It's like you
Did he
may see
try?
someone familiar.
I just think he didn't try hard enough to live. Which one was this? Oh, the one with the little slave.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember what voice I gave him.
He was the gruff one.
Was he the
Yeah.
smoker voice, or?
I think so.
Okay.
Hero, old girl, how wonderful to see you. And Sir Emmerich, too. To what do I owe these unexpected pleasures?
Oh, and
Which one was it? Shit.
this was
Hunter is the
voice.
robot.
Auto-tune.
Oh.
I will have some mulled wine brought up from the kitchen at once, if you will excuse.
Nay, do not trouble yourself, Honrod. We shall soon be on our way. Lucia, a brief summary, if you will.
Yes, Lord Commander.
Those villains hardly need an excuse to wage war. Bloodletting comes as naturally as breathing to a Garl. I mean, to an Imperial.
And thus we shall strengthen our patrols as you suggest. We shall also be sure to communicate these developments to Lord Francel and the Observatorium.
I see you have everything at hand. Carry on, Commander.
Oh, I just voiced everybody here today, didn't I?
Yep, they're just all meeting together.
Surprised to see yours truly at the helm.
Yes, considering your incompetence at the actual inaugural or the unveiling of the treaty.
You and me both, old girl.
Okay, how fucking old do you think I am? I'm like, not that. Okay.
I doubt I'll ever feel worthy to sit sit where he sat.
The slang makes the slang makes more sense when you hear him say old boy. It's like Great Gatsby shit.
Sure.
Yet we can but play the hand we're dealt with, and with a little help from the veterans and Holdrort's ceaseless chiding, I'm sure I'll muddle through. So worry not, old girl. Off to Gridania with you.
This old girl sounds like a car that's breaking down.
Yep. Or like, you know, referencing a boat.
This old girl's been through a lot. That's a very flat bear.
It really is.
I don't know why you'd put a chair on a bear.
Extreme
like
flat bear. A New Gridania. So much teleport. Click, click, click. There we go.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was up there with when.
Gridania?
It was up there
New
with
one
when
or
I fucking got stuck voicing both twins, and then Thancred showed up, and then Ida showed up. I'm like, God.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So very loud the moment we got here.
Oh yeah, there's a gathering.
Somebody's, yeah.
Yeah, people are having a concert. Go for it. Diplomatic duties have brought me here on several occasions, but I find that I am enraptured by the Black Shroud's beauty now as when I first laid eyes on it. I fear that at this time, however, events shall not afford us the luxury of enjoying the splendor of the forest. Alright, can we do this again? I don't know why we had to stop talking to you.
Once we're finished with this quest, by the way, I probably need to call it a night. I have a very early start in the morning.
The quest or the dialogue?
the quest.
It seems we have to have an escort to the Lotus Stand. A pleasant place to discuss unpleasant matters, is it not? Yes, of course. 'Tis like we were the last to arrive. Let us announce ourselves, shall we?
This feels weird when there's a bunch of like heroes running around these people, but not in conversation with these people, and they just don't acknowledge the fact that there's like a fuck ton of heroes here.
They're not the real ones.
Yeah, they're just like, we're not gonna talk about it.
Where's the objective?
Conjurer's Guild.
Shit.
Hurry up now. We gotta talk to the silent conjurer.
Ether. There. There's no Effie.
I'm working on it.
As turns out, he's effable.
I am indeed affable. Thank you.
The envoy from Ishgard has arrived. Very good. This way, if you and the Leminson party as well.
Sup?
I had hoped to slip in unnoticed, but I see I was not the only one delayed in my arrival. Greetings, Sir Aymeric.
Admiral, always a pleasure.
And Hero, I trust you are well? 'Tis a day for reunions, it seems. I believe you are well acquainted with my escort, who you also voiced. Fuck. Warrior of Light, I am glad to hear from Riol that the missing scions have now been found. There is much and more I would discuss with you, but let us first attend the issue at hand, shall we?
Also, it's raining. Let's get inside.
Inside, even though it's just going to be another open clearing where we stand by some stumps.
But it won't be raining because the weather isn't.
The weather is always sunny in Philadelphia.
It's always sunny in this one spot.
Weather magic, sure.
I bid you welcome, my friends. As you will by now be aware, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have come into possession of certain intelligence concerning recent developments in the region of Gyr Abania. It springs, I am assured, from an unimpeachable source. Is that not so, Master Alphino?
Indeed, Elder Seedseer. Our information comes directly from a member of the Resistance's inner circle, and we have no cause to doubt its veracity.
This griffin of theirs is a fool if he thinks he can hold Belsar's wall against the Empire. When the Imperials move to take it back, they will come in force. And the resulting fighting is all but certain to spill over into the Black Shroud.
At the Battle of Cartano, the combined might of 3 grand companies labored to contend with the remnants of but a single Imperial legion. Alone, Gridania would be hard-pressed indeed to hold back the tide, should the Garleans turn their minds from reclamation to invasion.
May I once more convey my nation's deepest regrets for our inaction in the days prior to the calamity. 'Tis a stain upon our ledger that I would fain remove. Elder Seedseer, I do hereby request leave to deploy a defensive force within the borders of Gridania. Ishgard's return to the Alliance shall be honored by more than mere ink upon parchment.
The Doman people, too, would join any effort that weakens our common foe. We are few, but our most seasoned shinobi are at your disposal. On behalf of my people, I offer you my humble thanks. Gridania welcomes your assistance.
It is time we set our contingency plans in motion. Is the Alliance agreed? Then let us make ready for war. Victory favors the swift, and there is much to be done.
The Council knows that Alamigo will not soon be wrested from the Empire, and its decision to bolster the border's defences seems eminently practical. Why then, brother, do you scowl so?
I agree that they have chosen the wisest course available. Indeed, the only reasonable one. Yet something feels awry. In making ready for war, is the Alliance not granting the Griffin the very thing he desired? Any attempt to hold the wall is doomed to failure, aye. But I wonder if we have misjudged the prize for which he plays.
Are we breaking?
Well, we technically haven't finished this quest.
All right. That the Council was able to reach an accord so swiftly is a heartening development in itself. I only hope my misgivings prove unfounded.
And good you have yet to depart. I feared I missed you.
Sir Aymeric.
Master Alphanon, a pleasure as always. And Mistress Salisay, how wonderful to see you thus recovered. Pardon the interruption. I had hoped to thank Hero for serving as our escort before other duties called her away. I also wanted to thank our Domin ally.
But then she was like, don't mention it. Forgive me, my lord. I was but awaiting an opportune moment to join the conversation. A force of habit made me keep to the shadows.
No apologies unnecessary, Mistress Fierguri. I was most grateful for your interjection when I offered Ishgard support. My nation's historic failure to heed the Alliance's pleas for aid is a matter of record. Even so, the Alliance leaders were plainly unprepared for my impromptu apology. The resulting air of awkwardness might have lingered longer were it not for your timely offer of cooperation, which allowed the Elder Seer to accept us both. I very much appreciate the gesture.
I only did my duty, Sir Aymeric. The Empire is an enemy to us all, and we are grateful for the opportunity to fight at your side.
And full glad we are to have you. Pray convey my regards to the Scions, my friend. We must return to Ishgard.
Whatever is wrong with a simple sorry or thank you? Must these politicians always make a speech out of everything?
Yes.
That is how we adults speak, dear sister. Wow. Whoa. Mayhap the ones who sound like the sound of their own voice. In any case, our business here is concluded. We should be on our way as well. Will you accompany us to Revenant's Toll, Yugiri? Actually, I think I shall first pay a brief visit to the East Shroud. I'm curious to know how Papalimo and Ida fared in their talks with the Sylphs, not to mention what has been going on at Baelsar's Well. I will join you at the Rising Stones anon. I'll be at the Sylphs tomorrow morning, like I am every day. Such is how I do. My raps. I'm at the threshold for 2 of them right now.
I still need to do my threshold quest for one of them. I've been lazy about it.
Welcome back, hero. I don't know about you, but I am heartily glad that all the talking is over. I understand that these council meetings are important, but you do not find it tiresome to have to weigh every word before you speak it? I doubt I will ever be at home in the realm of politics. That said, people have been known to change, and if my brother's willing to run his own errands, anything is possible. Dang.
Ta-da!
And that quest is now complete. The end. Done. Goodbye. Don't accept the new one yet.
Okay. Alrighty.
Oh, next main scenario quest. The interface. It's just 3 question marks. I don't know if I've seen that before. Funny. Oh, a soirée in the Sultanate. Oh, it's time for Dancem quest. A quest in whomst dance. Goodbye, y'all. I'm gonna go dance quest.
What?
I think I hit the level threshold to get unlock the next dancing quest because I have a little quest floating under my main scenario prompt now. Teach chat, it's been a long time. Oop. Soirée in the Sultanate. Well, if it isn't my star pupil, you can't have come at a better time. A messenger just arrived. It would appear that Master Gegaruju has received a response from his friends in the Sultanate. As for the details, he would deliver them to us in person. Why don't you go ahead to his villa? I will fetch Rana and be along shortly. Bye. All these different themes from different expansions, I think? Not really a theme. Other words. It's not a leitmotif, is it? I don't know. Words for music, jingles, fanfare. I think it's called fanfare. Well, well, if it isn't my second favorite dancer. Good news, my boy. Thanks to the highest recommendation of yours truly, my friends at the Sultanate, the Syndicate, would be more than happy to host one of your performances in Ul'dah. You have our deepest gratitude, Master Gegaruju. Truly, your generosity knows no bounds. Haha! Think nothing of it. Your performance gave me a thrill I'll not soon forget. And while I'd love to do nothing more than to keep you all to my own, I'd be remiss to share if I didn't share my most remarkable discovery with the rest of the realm. That goes for you in particular, my lovely Rana. You may be a bit rough around the edges, but that just adds to your untamed, dare I say, feral allure. You're fucking pushing it, bro. Nothing would make me happier than to go down in history as the man who introduced your beauty to Eorzea. Why, Master Gegaruju, you're making me blush. It's like 2 elements there where it's like one literally a cat girl, but also she's like from another country, so it's like that's like the fucked up way that people talk about people from other countries when they're quote unquote discovering them or whatever the fuck. It's like, oh man, they're so exotic and brutish. It's like, that'll take me. I simply can't bear the thought that you've performed on my stage for the last time. You'll grace me with one final farewell performance, won't you? Surely, after all I've done for you. Our apologies, Master Gegaruju, but we must not keep our audience in the Sultanate waiting. After all, this is but the second stop on our journey, a journey we must see through to the end. And besides, while your words do Rana and us all great honor, I would remind you that the girl is still an apprentice. Excess praise can lead to overconfidence. overconfidence and carelessness to an untimely fall. Do you hear me, Rana? No matter what glowing words your admirers may heap upon you, remember that your journey as a dancer has only just begun. Keep your feet planted firmly on the ground lest you stumble on the road to achieving your final potential. Ah, but of course! And yet, it's truly inspiring to have such a devoted fan, is it not? Why, it helps me appreciate just how much I've blossomed as a dancer in such a short time. I do not mean to make light of your achievements. I ask only that you stay focused on the task at hand, continue to hone your craft, and not let yourself get swept away by unchecked emotion. Don't want any of those pesky feelings. And with that, we should be taking our leave. Master Gakuruju, we thank you for your patronage and hospitality. When your business in Eorzea is done, we will return to fully express our gratitude. You need not feel compelled to travel with the troop, hero. Zev, I'm not with them. I can say whatever I want here. I trust that you have matters of your own you would attend to along the way. We shall await you in Ul'dah. I am also here, watching the story happen like I always do. There's always more Gakuruju quests, because he just comes up a lot. I think didn't we deal with Gakuruju in the samurai story too? I'm also cluing into the fact, over time, that it kind of clicked for me just now. Because what is it, I watched the Jesse Cox video. I didn't watch it so much as listen to it, where he talks about the new expansion that he got a preview of before, so it's an older video at this point. And he talked about the dancers being from Endwalker, and I'm like, oh, hang on a minute, I get it. The way that Final Fantasy teases future expansions and their locations as they add classes to the game that are from another region before you actually get to go to that region, which is really different. That's interesting, because normally you would introduce these the class with the region that it's from, right? Like you meet the new people and then you deal with their stuff, but instead like they are already a cultural export before you get there. And that's interesting. And I almost wonder if there's even like a specifically Japanese perspective involved in that, with how much culture they export at times. And I'm like, that's just really specifically interesting, because I think I've been corrected before for saying that the Dragoons are from the Heavensward expansion. But I think they were a base class. I think you can start off as a Dragoon, which makes sense because I think I remember it coming up when I was researching what class I wanted to be in the first place, and then I eventually landed on Monk, and we also all landed on classes that you could start in the same town as, because that obviously makes sense. But obviously Dragoons are from Heavensward in the story. That's Kurthus, and that's the Dragonsong War, and that's the one Dragoon main character that you meet, and so on. So that makes sense. But no, I think the Dragoons were a base class, and then similarly, I think in Stormblood we're about to hit the more Japanese-inspired area, and that like, but ninjas were added in the patches before. Or no, I think ninjas were at. Trying to remember. I think ninjas might have been a base class too. But the ninja character, which is the Dragon Lady, is introduced in the patches before Heavensward, which is literally an entire expansion before you get to the region that she's from, which I think is where we're going next in Stormblood, I think. But specifically, I think Dancer is one of the new classes as of the previous, the expansion I'm used to calling the new one, but it's not anymore. Shadowbringer. I think that added Dancers and another class and the Hrothgar and Vera. And it's like, okay, but I think we're still waiting to actually get to where the Hrothgar are from specifically. I could be wrong because I'm not caught up, obviously, but I think I've heard that we still can't actually go to where the Hrothgar are from, which feels like a tease for a future thing that gets developed later, potentially. Maybe after they have female character models, if for no other reason than to have a queen be a character at some point. Although if the queen was just a dude, just under a cowl, that'd be funny. It'd be a little bit reminiscent of Mass Effect 3 Krogans. But like I think I've heard that the dancers were added in that expansion, but Endwalker visits the land that they're actually from, and it's like this reoccurring thing where it's like they have a really carefully interlocked narrative with their world building that they're almost certainly making up as they go along to some extent. Like, I've seen some stuff that looks very much like the other part of Final Fantasy, where things are more like modern to futuristic, and it seems like that's probably not a thing they intended on originally, because there was apparently a rule originally that all of the clothing and armor had to be like well, this basically, like it had to be something that you would fit with what you're seeing in this area and like look like these people and so on. Like there's more of like a, I don't know, even Nashmir might have actually be a little out of that range already, but like over time they loosened their grip and let more modern to futuristic looking stuff pop into the game, and then that led to them adding all the fan service stuff from the other games, which don't know how I feel about that, because it's weird to just have people running around as Cloud and as Tidus and stuff like that, but that's a whole thing. But now it's like, but because that rule was there originally, that made me think like they probably weren't planning on the newest expansion looking like what it's going to and so on. So I'm curious about that stuff, but it is very interesting to see that they plant the seeds for future narratives and locations and cultures before you ever get there, so it doesn't feel like you're just randomly introducing a new expansion out of nowhere the way you do in most other MMOs that I've seen, where it's just like, fuck, okay, we're going to this new place and here's their new classes and here's their new races and here's the new culture and you've never heard of any of it before, and it's like you can kind of see why they have all these dangling things like, here's the little rat people, and like here's all these different little groups and stuff that might come up later, and like here's like you keep having people that like immigrate into the world without you actually getting to follow up on that to any great degree, because then it feels less out of nowhere later when you actually do get to do that. It also makes it, for me as a new player, very difficult to remember where and what anything is from, like which content piece it's from, because yeah, like I'll incorrectly say what expansion entire classes are from once I realize what expansion they are from, like narratively, if you call it each expansion based on its location. But no, just picking out that little interesting thing, and I'm like, okay, there's some shit going on here, and that's interesting, a thing for them to do. Things get only more messy, of course, playing as an expansion race from the beginning of the entire experience, where we're like 100 episodes deep, somewhere around now-ish, and I have never seen another Hrothgar speak, because all other Hrothgar are just player characters that are also torn from time and space. They definitely could better implement new races and anachronistic elements of the game into the world. Like, add a few hooks throughout the narrative that just kind of acknowledge me in some way, even if they're kind of a little forced, like the Dragon Age, to quote like the Zero Escape review of Dragon Age way back in the day, where it's like, you are an elf, just like the occasional somewhat awkward voiced acknowledgements of like, this line is customized to acknowledge your class and or race. But like, it wouldn't be the worst to have a few winks to the camera through A Realm Reborn a little bit, to just be like, all right, well, this part's actually really funny because you're a giant cat, or a bunny girl, or whatever. But also specifically, I wouldn't mind having an alternate intro to the Warrior of Light storyline. I think every single character showing up on the same wagon made more sense when everybody was clearly from the class and race distribution that was expected for the beginning of the narrative, but the more out there some of the options get, the more it becomes stranger that you're here. Not because, like, it's not weird to have like an original character do not steal, spot the main character, who's the main character in this JoJo's episode fucking situation happen in your like wandering adventure that's going to be the chosen one or whatever the fuck type situation, where it's like this character's very important and they wandered in one day and here's all the shit that as their story begins. Gotta keep an eye on that one. There's nothing wrong with all that. It's just that the stranger your character gets when you're like a dragon or a cat or something, and the more like completely out there it becomes, a little conversation wouldn't hurt. Just like a little custom conversation. Even if you have to be on the same wagon, like you could have a flashback that contextualizes why the fuck a Hrothgar is here in Ul'dah on this wagon, for example, that plays before it. Or you could just have a different conversation with Alphino that kind of contextualizes it. I'm saying all this as somebody who literally forgot Alphino was on that wagon because I think it took like a while to meet them again. And I also didn't know anyone on the wagon was important because, like, you know, you just talk to that one guy, he's like, oh, so you're an adventurer, this is like the Skyrim intro or whatever, I'm gonna drive you to Ul'dah. But I don't know. I've played this game long enough that I think I can point out it's a little weird. The context of my character existing. Well, I'm happy I get to play as this character, because it would suck if you had to like race swap later in the game when you unlock the races or whatever, because then it's like a break in your character and you're just not playing the same person. Like, I won't even change my Warrior of Light's face with a Fantasia, because that just makes him a different person, and that breaks the continuity of him being one person all the way through. Unless you really want to like work, like specifically think of it as like plastic surgery in the middle of their narrative or whatever. But a fucking changing to a completely different species, basically, that's just you playing a new character that picks up where the old one left off, essentially. Like, it's just, it's just very strange. I can't even contextualize it as being like, oh, he just canonically used a Fantasia in universe. It's like, no. Like, these people have cultural backgrounds that are supposed to be important to their character. Like, when you make a Hrothgar, it's not like, I'm a funny cat man now. It's like, here's what a Hellion is, and here's what the not Hellions are. The Lost, there we go. And like, here's what a Hellion is, the ultimate simp, and a Lost, they lost their queen, and so they're simpless. And that's basically the two tribes. But it's, you can't be like, yeah, he used to be a Lalafell, but then he used a Fantasia, and that's the canon story. And I'm like, that's not what the character screen says. It says that you're a Hellion or a Lost. That means something. They put importance on when your fucking birthday is in this game. So, I don't know. It's good that you can play the same character all the way through, despite and it's good that they add ones over time and don't just stay at the first ones, which I think might have happened in 11. At least I never heard about new ones. I feel like the first one was like Hure, Alizin, Rogadin, and Lalafell. There might have been Catgirls too, I don't remember, but those are the ones that I recognized as being the playable races as somebody who literally never launched the game a single time. But just, it's like, oh, there's a big dude, and there's a little dude, and there's a human, and there's an elf. And I might have missed the Catgirls as just being another, it's like, oh, there's another pointy-eared thing, but it's not an elf, it's a cat girl. So I wasn't paying that close of attention. But it does obviously strain the believability of the narrative at times. It's also, I just make light of it, because I'm just like, it's very funny to me. Every time that someone's like, I don't know if, do I recognize you? Have I seen you somewhere before? Like, anytime there's anything like, we're just gonna blend in, or the opposite of blending in, like being recognized and so on. It's like, yeah, I don't know, who could I be? Out of all the people of Eorzea in this grand sprawling narrative, what character could I be? It's up there with like the fucking lecherous octopus from the Manderville storyline. Like, you know, the one talking octopus that keeps groping people. It's like, yeah, I don't know, in all of Ul'dah, have I known you before? Do I know you? I don't know. I guess it just got one of those faces. Anyway. Not a lot of time for rants and whatnot, because this game's like entirely, this playthrough is like entirely dialogue, so you just have to grind to a halt if you want to talk about anything. So this is Ul'dah, Jewel of the Desert. But we're not here to see the sights. No, we must decide upon a suitable venue for our next performance. What's that? You're doing dialogue now? I'll start the lawnmower outside. Fuck you. I never know how audible the stuff is, but I know. I hear it. As a matter of fact, I already have an idea. I was thinking we might put on a show in Stone's Throw, a settlement outside the town said to be home to the poor and downtrodden. Are you sure of this, Mistress Nashmira? I agree with that the arts should be enjoyed by the lowborn as well as the high, but is some glorified shantytown truly the best place for us to find an audience here? I would have it no other way. Now listen to me, Zev, and listen carefully. Sup? It's my one contribution usually. You will recall that I told you that our Kriegsdance... I heard they hired a German voice actor to play a new character in the new expansion. Is the new expansion German? Am I finally going to be able to pronounce things? All I have to do is get to the newest content 3 years from now? You recall that I told you that our Kriegsdance has the unique power to clear hearts and minds of worries and lift the spirits of all who behold it. Put another way, bringing joy and succor to the scorned and the suffering is no less than our calling in life. In Limsa as well, our audience included many who were down on their luck, and yet it did not seem those troubles weighed so heavily in their hearts. Mayhap this is a remnant of their pirate heritage, a flagon of ale in hand, and a song on the lips, and all their cares fade away. Ul'dah is different. Here I feel the scars of the calamity run deeper, particularly among those who lack the coin needed to rebuild their lives to their satisfaction. Stone's Throw, it will be. I can think of no place more in need of what we offer.
You there! Halt! Halt, I say!
We're standing still, sir.
You're the dancing troupe that's come at the invitation of the Syndicate, yes? On the authority of the Brass Blades, we command you desist at once.
Dancing? That has to be stopped immediately.
Fear not, you have done naught wrong. It's just, well, Stone's Throw's not safe for visitors these days, you see. A group of real rabble-rousers have been causing trouble of late. You know how it is. Protests, riots, all sorts of unpleasant business.
Sounds like, let's go then. Sounds great.
Of course, their anger is targeted directly at Ul'dah's upper crust.
Sounds great.
Like as not, they leave you a troop of performers. Still, the Syndicate cannot accept the risk of its honored guests suffering an untimely injury or worse.
We appreciate your concern, but I can assure you that it is wholly unnecessary. All members of my troop are well trained in the art of self-defense. We are more than capable of taking care of ourselves. Also, we literally have a Warrior of Light. I don't know if you recognized him. He doesn't stand out.
That's right. Besides healing suffering and strife across the realm is precisely the reason we've come here.
No. Rana. It's not no. This isn't time for opiate of the masses. They're rightfully protesting that Ul'dah's really just a shithole. Like, this place is the fucking worst. I don't mean that in like the way that, yeah, that's loaded language because it's the way that some people have talked about third world countries. I just mean specifically that the upper crust needs to be protested. Have you seen the shit that happens here? The entire ending arc of the Realm Reborn? Like, Jesus Christ, this place sucks. I don't care if they have like a stupid, cute, weird, like, lolly girl thing that's running it. It's like, this place is fucking miserable. Like she's like this fucking branding nonsense that tries to trick you into thinking this place is in any way acceptable. They're run by the Syndicate! They're called the Syndicate on purpose!
Whatever sort of struggle your people face, why not let us look into the matter and see if we can't resolve it?
That's exactly what they don't want you to do right now. They don't want you to turn around and try to resolve the conflict, because that would mean a coup, probably.
Is a gracious offer, but no. Keeping the peace is our sworn duty, and one cannot simply impose on guests. Besides, we are trained soldiers, and you are not. For your own safety, you should take your leave of this place at once. I am more than just a dancer, you know. An adventurer, and one who knows his way around Uldar, you say. Perhaps you are fit to investigate the matter after all.
I don't want to investigate the protesters.
Very well then, you and your friends may carry on. Just promise that you won't go looking for trouble, eh?
Please don't become some Yakuza style, like... And here's why the system is good. Welcome to Yakuza 4, the worst one. Mistress Nashmira, leave this to me. I'll dance up a storm for these poor folks, calm their hearts, and put an end to any riots or uprisings. I admire your spirit, Rana, and yet I cannot shake the sense that great danger does indeed lurk here. You may go, but only if Zev accompanies you, and you must promise that you will not leave his side.
All right. The more the merrier, don't you agree, Zev? Let's make for stone's throw. I'll race you there.
It can only be like a stone's throw away, right? If you're further away, you have to call it something else. So fucking stupid. Where the fuck is stone's throw? I guess I'll click on this Aether, because the map is built in now, thank God. Looking for an objective marker. I don't see one. The map's still so cluttered. It's one of the best incentives to do every single quest is just to stop having it be covered in all these... Wait, a stone's throw? Not even in the town? It's outside. It's a stone's throw from this gate. Wow. I guess that fits, I guess. It's right out here. Whee! It's a stone's throw from Ul'dah. Gotcha.
Belverf.
Bye.
Oh, there you are. Let's get started, shall we? Our first task is to figure out just who's behind these riots. Why don't we split up, ask around, and see what's turned up? Oh, don't tell me you're worried about that silly promise I made to Mistress Nashmira. Come now, Zeb. Clearly she worries over much. You saw me on the stage. Do I look like someone who can't take care of herself? Now let's see what the townspeople can tell us. Meet you back here when we're both done, alright?
This game's full of tiny bean people that can take down raid bosses. Like, how does anyone look like anything? Like, as far as I can tell, the muscles on my character are just purely cosmetic and have no impact on their ability to do anything. That's how the world do.
Riots? Aye, there's been some trouble here of late. Won't catch me dead getting myself involved. Whoever's behind it all, we wish they'd just bugger off and give us some peace and quiet for once. Of course, it doesn't stop those brass blades from glaring at me askance every time they come through the neighborhood. Not that I can blame them, I suppose. Rumor has it that the true culprit's an expert in throwing the authorities off his trail.
This is the abrasive beggar. You can use him to get rid of the worst, like... So fucking stupid. At least have a sentence planned before you start it. I was gonna say, like, pot scum or something? Is that the right thing to call it? It's a joke about abrasives. You gotta scrub.
Looking for some rabble-rouser rioter, you say? Might know a thing or two. What's it to ya? None of us here in Stone's Throw have much love for the rich. This much is true. Still, wasn't until lately when someone started talking about actively giving them their due. Though they were just talking big. But lately it seems they've been putting their plot into action.
I thought they were just talking big. I like to look at my pile of wood. Look at my broken barrels. I like to stare at them. I will never move these, but I will live here for the rest of my life. I'm kind of just confused by the debris. What? Is it at least behind the tent? Wait, where's the front of this tent? Is that flap the front? No, that's nailed down. Where the fuck do you get into this tent? Is maybe here? There's a big V here. Yeah, no, I don't. I feel like this is a mistake in the environment design. Like, just logistically, people are living here, like, daily. Like, this isn't like a random camp they set up for 5 seconds or whatever. Like, look. You can make people look poor without just covering them in random debris. Like, this part makes sense. But then that part, you're like, And then you start thinking, like, how did she get in and out of this tent? It's actually a little hard. It's actually really hard to be completely sure which parts of the flap that you get in through. But like, you wouldn't want to walk on a bunch of weird, fucked up, splintery boards. You would move them. It's just basic. It reminds me of Fallout 4, where the lore, as far as I can remember, like at that point, the narrative is just like shitting itself because like you're like in a time period where things are relatively developed and people have businesses everywhere and things are like kind of recovering from the apocalypse in some ways, but like everyone's house is just dirty trash garbage, and like you go into like I think Red Rocket at the beginning of the game, there's like a diner and somebody's running the diner, but there's like piles of garbage in the diner and like a skeleton from the apocalypse is just sitting in one of the booths, and you're like, is the skeleton good for business? You think you'd clear the skeleton from your food establishment that you're apparently running, but that's the game where you can literally build stuff. Like you can build a settlement and the stuff you build comes pre-ruined, and you're like, why is it look like it went through the apocalypse? I just built it. It's like they're so terrified of taking 5 steps away from the aesthetic that the genre is famous for, that they actively snap their setting on over the knee of that. It's like, no. Hang on a minute, guys. This is supposed to be humans. Hey, you there. You friends with that Mikote girl? The one from the fancy dress? Yeah. She was asking about the riots, you know? Well, you wouldn't believe I actually saw her talking to one of the blackguards responsible for it all. Oh my god. Shocked face. Last thing I saw, he was leading her away somewhere. I'd go after her if I were you, but, well, I wouldn't. Wouldn't have the nerve for this sort of thing, but I reckon you should, before the poor thing comes to harm. I wish they would do camera angles. Honestly, I wish the entire game consistently had like the BioWare style cutscenes. They happen a fair bit during the main story, but like in moments like that, like you had my character do an emote as a reaction, but like I didn't see it. I had to go over here and be like, oh my god, so shocked. That's not the right one. That's a much more shocked one. I don't even know what shocked it was then, but he took a step back and he had a face, I'm sure, but it's like I didn't get to see it. And considering that every conversation I pretty much just smile or nod, I'm like, I want to see more emotes in cutscenes. Half the time they happen during cutscenes where the game won't actually look at me up close. Hey guys, time to die. Ant worker, no! This isn't your fight. Oh. Yeah, your step move is fucking... Oh, right, these guys are high level. I'm actually missing, so I have to pay attention to whether or not I landed my attack, because if I press the wrong button, it doesn't work right. Joke's on you guys, I have all these buttons. I get to blast all my cooldowns, because I only have one fight per 3 hours of gameplay. Bye. I have full health, basically, because I pressed all my buttons. Oh, hero, you really saved my skin. This man told me he'd take me to the rioters' hideout. He led me here and then, well, to be honest, I'm still unsure entirely what I witnessed. It was the strangest thing. As soon as he brought me here, his body began to sway and spin in the strangest way. If I didn't know better, I'd say he was dancing. But we can talk about that when we're back in safer environs. I should probably summon the brass blades and file an official report. Meanwhile, could you return to the city and let Mistress Nashmira know I'm all right? And tell her I'm sorry for breaking my word. Bye. Are we going to do this narrative where the people who are protesting must be doing it because they're being controlled by some outside force? The infiltrator narrative? Because that's a fucked up thing in real life. It's like, oh, there's not even they don't even really truly believe the thing. They're being mobilized by people that are manipulating them and so on. It's like, no, people protest for systemic reasons that matter, actually. I see. I had a feeling this would happen. Do not blame yourself, Zev. You are not her keeper. I will deal with the girl myself when she returns. That said, I am curious. What can you tell me of the strange dance she says her would-be captors were performing? Nothing, because I wasn't there. You're gonna have to talk to her. Good news, friends. Thanks to your efforts, we have apprehended the firebrand. Peace should return to Stone's Throw for now, at least until the next rabble-rouser decides to fan the flames. Oh. This is a sad story. Still, there's one part of the story that does not sit well with me. The girl here claims she saw her captors dancing, and those who took into custody swear to the last man they remember no such thing. Yep, they were being controlled. They also use the language of, there's riots, without a single visual to accompany the idea that there is anything resembling a riot. Because that's what you call protests that you don't like, which is every protest. They denied that they were dancing, but why ever would they feel the need to lie about something so innocuous when they already convicted of far more heinous crime? I mean, dancing's not a crime. It is not precisely a lie. You see, from here, the tale gets even stranger. They claim to have a vague recollection of their bodies moving, but insist they had absolutely no intention of doing so. They went on to say they couldn't remember where or why they came up with the idea to riot in the first place. On the contrary, they seemed almost relieved, just as if some evil spirit had been banished from them. Sounds like our friends have been partaking in a particularly unstable and unsavory alchemical concoction. At any rate, the brass blades will be taking over the investigation from here. Thank you for your assistance, and please carry on with the preparations for your performance with our blessing. Wow, state-sponsored art. I'm sorry, Mistress Nashmira. I should have stayed with Zev like you said. Together, I'm sure we could have worked things out peacefully. In the end, I was not able to dance even a single step. Just as the Kriegsdance can enthrall and inspire, so it can serve us in battle. A true dancer must be prepared for both possibilities at all times. Zev was able to display his skills as a dancer in battle today, and I suspect it is that for that very reason that your would-be captors... But never mind that. Rana, you disappoint me. It is not a lack of dancing prowess that led to your failure today. No, it was the overconfidence that led you to stray from your partner's side. When Troop Falsheim dances, we dance as one. We dance to stir hearts and lift spirits, not merely to show off our skills, that our admirers might shower us with empty praise. I thought you understood this, but it's clear you still have much to learn. I am sorry, Mistress Nashmira. I promise I will not repeat my mistake. And she was never seen again. Forgive me for making you suffer the girl's foolishness, Zev. Though she has grown in scale, it is clear she is still a child in more ways than one. I can only hope that she will take today's lesson to heart, lest she eventually pay the price. You ask too much of the girl. Being a true dancer is about more than knowing how to move one's feet. I must be tougher on Rana than anyone, lest Troop Falsheim fail to carry out its sworn duty. I can see you are confused by my words. Do not worry. All will become evident in due time. Yes, both you and Rana will understand all too well that I work for the CIA. And with that, I must prepare for our forthcoming performance. This time, I will be asking Rana to take the stage alone. She may consider it her opportunity to reflect upon her actions today and, God's willing, learn and grow from her missteps. Meanwhile, perhaps it would be best if you, too, return to your training. If you and Rana truly mean to bring out the best in one another, both of you will work harder than ever before. Farewell for now, and let us meet up again when it's time to move on. And now, I do believe it's time I did some investigating of my own. Where are you going with that? God, that protruding chunk of building is terrifying to look at. Next part is level 65. Wow. I am very close to that. I am very close to that. Granted, I don't love how over-leveled I am. Because I'm halfway, I think I'm halfway through the level spread of the next expansion, and we're like not even ready to start it yet. But, we're almost there. In fact, I got 100,000 experience for that. A bump like that again would almost take me there, actually. Well, I'm back sooner than expected, but I done leveled. It is good to see you, Zev. You'll be pleased to hear that our exhibition in the Sultanate was a rousing success. Rana gave quite the inspired performance. It would seem the girl has indeed taken her lessons to heart. That leaves Gridania as the final stop on our three-nation tour. I meant to depart immediately, but I must confess that the curious developments in Old Da have given me pause. Upon our arrival, let us first pay a visit to Adder's Nest and inquire as to any strange happenings around town. Do not ask me why, but I believe it is best we stay vigilant. Time to take down another peasant uprising. It feels like a bit of a missed opportunity not to have cutscenes that show the performances, even though they're probably a pain in the ass to make for just one class's optional side quests and all that. But there's a dance troupe and they're traveling the world doing performances, and they're just like, ah yes, we're gonna go do the performance now. Oh, you're back. Hello again. We're leaving to the next place, and I'm like, where's the performances? Ah, Zev, I am sorry to say that my fears appear to have been well-founded. Gridania, too, has seen its fair share of social unrest of late. Pray explain the situation to my colleagues, good sir. You are familiar with the Duskwhite, yes? They are a clan of Elizin who eschew the shackles of urban life and instead choose to live in isolation. For the most part, both sides choose to leave the other well enough alone. Recently, however, events have taken a troubling turn. Groups of Duskwhites have been assembling for reasons unknown, holding secret gatherings on the outskirts of the forest. Whatever their aim, we can be quite certain it is nothing good. The Twin Adder is content to leave them be, provided they do us no harm, but when they turn to thieving and threatening our way of life, we cannot simply turn a blind eye. To say that tensions between the Duskwhites and our citizens have been rising would be an understatement. To this point, troublemakers among the Duskwhite have primarily acted alone. which makes the manner in which they are now plotting something together in plain sight all the more concerning. Some here in the nest even believe they are sowing seeds for a violent uprising. As fortune would have it, these dusk-white rabble-rousers have recently been sighted with a particular frequency in the immediate vicinity of the venue where I had hoped to hold our performance. Needless to say, we must address this immediate danger before we can even think of going forward with our performance. Zev, Rana, what say we investigate the matter? Together this time. Consider it done. I'll make up for my failure, just you watch me. Once I've soothed the Dusk Whites' heights with my dance, rioting will be the furthest thing from their minds. / me. Thank you, friends. That settles it then. Leave the matter of the Dusk White demagogues to my colleagues here. I suppose there would be some merit in delegating the task to you rather than risk fanning the flames between Dusk Whites and our citizens. And yet, you are a dance troupe, are you not? Are you certain that your friends here are up to the task of suppressing an armed revolt? You can be assured they are. For what it is worth, I too will be accompanying Rana and Zev to ensure that everything is in order. Besides, there is something I would confirm with my own eyes. And with that, we should be on our way. The Dusk Whites in question are said to be congregating in South Shroud. Let us meet first at the local tavern and formulate a plan of attack. The place that every quest takes me to. Over there on the right side of the map, not my right. Go, 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 go. Am I going the right way? Oh wait, no. We're going outdoors, aren't we? Yeah. Ah, it's one of the other places I go to a lot. South Shroud. I made some early mistakes with the Ixali tribe when they would have those big orders, and I was like, I don't want to craft all this shit. Can I just buy it at the auction house? Like, it's a lot of crafting to do on a daily basis just for that one quest for 70 rep. But it's 70 rep. Like, the other quests never get that high, so you gotta do it every day if you want to keep up the pace. And the orders just keep getting taller and taller, and you're like, this is, just a lot of crafting to have to try to set up and do. It's like, I'm trying to get through this quickly. So I would, like, look at the auction house and see just see if any of the things are cheap. But eventually I realized that some of the stuff I was buying at the auction house, you just buy it from this lady right here, the Ale House Wench. She sells so many of the items. Let's see, especially antelope steak and cottage cheese and probably some other stuff. Multiple items on the Ixali delivery quest are just sold here, full formed, and not expensive. So I regretted some purchases I made. And then I turned around and I bought a bunch of those items, and then I started selling them in the auction house to try to make the money back. It's like, all right, let's see who I can catch now with the same mistake. Mwahaha. And all that. According to one of the regulars here, the Dusk-White troublemakers were seen not long ago just to the northeast of here. And that's not all. A rumor says that they were, and I quote, gyrating and undulating in a most curious way. Whatever it was we witnessed in Thanalan, it seems likely it's afflicting the people here as well. We must investigate the matter with all speed. Come now. It almost sounds like a vague reference to that, like, weird dancing plague that supposedly really happened somehow or whatever, which is just a strange story. But the idea of it being an affliction is likely a red herring if if they go that way at all. Because it seems like it's pretty clearly motivated to sow some kind of some sort of unrest between these groups. At least this one's not in the weird context of, like, putting down protesters. This one's like, oh, there's, like, this outsider group that's, like, normally, like, we live off the land and whatever, and they're, like, attacking us for some reason now. Like, that's, like, way more like, okay, what the fuck's happening now? Zev, Mistress Nashmira, I think I saw something over there, behind the bushes. It could be one of the several large monsters around here, including the one that's fighting somebody. There's somebody fighting right over there. There's such a density of things attacking right now that it's funny to look for like something in the abandoned woods. Am I getting a dance out of this quest chain or not? It'd be a missed opportunity if it didn't, right? That's it! That's the same creepy dance I saw in Ul'dah. The Dance of the Damned. Yes, it is just as I feared. That's a name. I'll explain everything in good time. For the moment, just leave them to me. Slap. Begone, meddlers. Leave us to our dancing. What in the... My legs. It's as if they have a mind of their own. Damn. Mistress Dashmira, look out! I think I found the suspicious thing. Hello, floating glyph from Shatrath? The fuck? Oh, it's my level. Oh, right, because this is a current level quest. I'm not used to the content being caught up with me. Although if I get in any real trouble, I can just summon my Chocobo. I thought I must have run out of Chocobo timing. I probably AFK'd somewhere. Finish you off with the step. There it goes. Standard step is such a boring name for what is essentially your like most consistently powerful ability. The standard step. Forgive me, Zev, and thank you. And to think I was scolding poor Rana for her overconfidence. In my heyday, I would have made short work of that thing, but alas, those days are long behind me. I may look 23, but I'm actually 62. Nobody's old in this game, they just have grayer hair. I'll never get over Minfilia's grandma or mom? She's supposed to be the old character in the Scions, and you're like, really? That's what an old character looks like in this universe, huh? Like, no one actually looks old unless they're a completely, like, uniquely created character like the Pope dude. Don't be too hard on yourself, Mistress Dashmira. We all have our bad days, and besides, it's not as if you were just being reckless like me. And never mind that. What in the world did I just see? That creepy dance, that strange cloud of black aether. What does all this mean, Mistress Dashmira? Come on, I know you more than you've let on. I know that you know more than you've let on, I think is what she said. I do, and I fully intend to share my knowledge with you, once I have seen what I must see with my own two eyes. In the meantime, someone should hand these men to the Twin Adders. I suppose you're right, and we must treat your wounds as well. Zev, can I ask you to return to the Adder's Nest and deliver our report? I'll tend to Mistress Nashmira's scratches and see that no other troublemaking Duskwights show up. Back to the Adder's Nest. They always have to explain what they're gonna do in these whenever a dialogue is ending, because they can't just have them follow me around the way that we logistically would. So there's always an explanation for like where are they vanishing to if they end the cutscene by disappearing, or what are they gonna do when they just stand there as you leave. I don't recognize it. Sometimes it's a cover. I think it's usually covers. Although you could just like do your own thing if you wanted. Gavin. What's this? You apprehended the Duskwight miscreants for us? Splendid. On behalf of old Gridania, you have our gratitude. We will dispatch a unit to the South Shroud at once. My apologies for the delay, Zev. I'm pleased to report that our dancing Duskwight friends have been handed over to the proper authorities, and Rena's patched up my wounds good as new. With sufficient rest, I should be back on the stage in no time. Not on my watch, you won't. I mean, pray do not overexert yourself, Mistress Nashmira. You need your rest. I told you I could have handled the culprits myself. I know, Rena, and yet I wanted to be there myself when they awoke. It played out exactly as I expected. They remembered little or nothing about their dancing, their secret gatherings, or any of the conversations that led up to it at all. Just being stubborn, no doubt. Worry not, friends, the Twin Adders will carry out a proper interrogation. And yet one thing concerns me. Is it true that these events bear a striking similarity to a situation you witnessed in Ul'dah? It's the evil dance virus. What we have witnessed is none other than the Totentanz, the dance of the damned. Toten meaning literally dead. Or die, or dying. Es ist tot. And it is our God's given duty as dancers to see that it is never danced again. The dance of the damned? Our mission? Whatever you're rambling about, Mistress Nashmira, I thought our mission was to lend strength and succor to the suffering and lift the spirits of the realm. That it is. And yet the truth of what exactly this entails runs far deeper. Throughout our storied history, the dancers of Troop Falsame have saved countless lands time and again from a fate most dire. When war and calamity ravage the land, fear and anger fill men's hearts. These emotions fester, reacting with the aether around us. In the air we breathe, the ground beneath our feet, to form an etheric manifestation of malaise that spreads like a dark cloud across the land. The weak, the downtrodden, the scorned and suffering. Sadly, it is these people who are oft the quickest to fall prey to dark despair. Left unchecked, the shadow fully consumes them, their hearts, their minds. In the end, even control of their limbs is taken away from them. Stripped of the last semblances of sanity, they flail about in a manner most hideous. It was fine. That's really a mean critique of their dancing. Tales tell of mothers blissfully unaware as they trampled their beloved children. Jesus Christ. Alright, well that's hideous. Men who dance so violently they rip the limbs from their own body. That seems impossible. This is the Totentanz, the dance of the damned.
What madness is this? If you speak true, then this damnable dance you speak of arises from fear and anger in people's hearts. Why did it not manifest itself in the wake of the calamity in Eorzea's darkest hour?
Call me mad, but I think I understand. In times of greatest crisis, just surviving for another day requires all the strength that we can muster. People have neither the time nor the freedom to dwell on emotions like hatred or anger. That's not true. Rana has the right of it. It is precisely at this time, a time when Eorzea has made great strides in its recovery, yet deeper wounds still go undressed, that your people are most susceptible to that damnable dance. But we're not going to delve into that too deeply, because then this would be Disco Elysium, and that's way too exciting. Seriously, please, can we hard commit, actually talk about what the people's strife is, and have to reckon with it in any real systemic way? No, we're gonna dance it away. So this is why our art was born so many ages ago. Not to drive out the darkness from people's hearts in a figurative sense, but to literally cast out etheric shadows and free the afflicted from the clutches of the Totentants. Yeah, we treat symptoms, not the disease. That's this entire class. Oh boy. Yes, this is the truth of Troop Falsame, passed down from principle to principle for generations. What I did for the Duskwights was to use my dance to extract the darkness from their hearts and give it physical form that can be struck down and banished. It has been several centuries since the menace of the Totentants last reared its ugly head. To be honest, when we first came to Eorzea, I was unsure as to what we would encounter. So as not to worry the two of you overmuch, I kept the truth from you. Yet now that I have seen it with my own eyes, our mission could not be more clear. As the inheritors of the Kriegstants, we must chase the shadow of the Totentants from this realm. I beg forgiveness for the secrecy, my friends, and ask that you lend me your aid. Is this gonna culminate in us doing a really big dance festival and not, like, actually addressing any of the systemic problems that are causing that grief? Like, you acknowledge that this place is deep, festering wounds, but, like, that needs to be addressed, or it just keeps happening. You can count on me. Of course you can count on us. After all, Zev and I are dancers of Troop Falsame too. At least until the next expansion, when I change classes again. It seems to be my pattern. I think every expansion story arc-ish, I'll like swap classes at some point just to embrace that part of the game. And it's like you always say, a dancer never abandons her partner. Why should you have to carry the burden of saving the whole realm all by yourself? Rena, Zev, after all my harsh words and hidden truths, you are far too kind. I must confess that I am still struggling to understand all this, but one thing is clear. This dancing epidemic you speak of poses a grave danger to our realm. I will contact the other grand companies immediately and apprise them of the threat. One other one. I guess it was Ishgard. Originally it was 3 groups that we had to think about mostly. But that's because they're all isolationists, those dicks. Should there be any reports of similar phenomena in other nations, we would like to call upon you to deal with the matter. Forgive us the imposition, but clearly this is beyond our ability. So you will expel their, like, sad-feeling ghosts, and then we will change no policies about how we run those governments. Leave it to us. Nothing would honor us more than if the nations of Eorzea would place their trust in Troop Falsame. Allow us to perform for their people. And now we're gonna have business not because we're like inspiring and like enjoyable dancers, but because we're like the Ghostbusters, basically. And with that, only Ishgard and Alamigo remain on our itinerary. Alamigo yet struggles to free itself from the Garlean yoke. We have no choice but to make Ishgard our next destination. At any rate, we will need more time to properly prepare for the confrontation ahead. In the meantime, Rana, you are to continue your performances. You require more practice still before I can bequeath to you all the secrets of the Kriegstants. You can count on me, Mistress Dashmira. And you, Zev, pray continue to hone your skills in battle. If we hope to prevail against the Totentants, you will need your martial skills as much as we need your dancing. For no, it is not enough that we lure the shadows out of people's hearts. We must dispel the darkness for good, lest it simply drift until it finds another unsuspecting host. Yes, we will be needing your strength more than ever. I've got bad news, Nashmir. We're in a side quest. we're not gonna lead to massive changes in any of these places. So whatever problem's causing this is probably gonna keep happening. And with that, I too should prepare myself. Our last act draws ever closer at hand. Now we just need to reach that point. Ah, she over here? Yep. 68. That's way more levels than last time. Alright, yeah, that's gonna be a while.